In the year 1705, in the quiet town of Lurgan, Ireland, a woman named Margorie McCall fell suddenly and dangerously ill. Her fever came on swift and violent, leaving her pale and unresponsive. With no modern medicine to help her, Margorie was soon pronounced dead. Her grieving husband, John McCall, devastated and fearful that the fever might spread, arranged for a swift burial. She was laid to rest in the old Shankill cemetery, still dressed in her burial gown. But one detail would soon become the centerpiece of a dark tale. Margorie was buried with a valuable gold ring on her finger. Her fingers were swollen from sickness, and the ring wouldn't come off. That very night, beneath the cover of darkness, a pair of grave robbers arrived at the fresh grave. News of the ring had traveled fast. Greed drove them to dig through the soft earth, pry open the coffin, and attempt to steal the ring. But no matter how hard they tried, the ring wouldn't budge. One thief drew a knife and began to slice into Margorie's finger, and just as the blade broke her skin, blood began to flow. Margorie's eyes snapped open. She gasped in air, let out a blood-curdling scream, and sat up in the coffin. The robbers screamed louder. One dropped dead on the spot. The other fled so fast he never returned to Lurgan. Margorie, dazed, weak, and confused, clawed her way out of the grave, walked barefoot through the streets, and made her way home. Her husband and children, still deep in mourning, were inside when they heard a knock at the door. John McCall, perhaps trying to lighten the mood, joked, "If your mother were still alive, I'd swear that was her." But when he opened the door and saw his wife, covered in dirt, dried blood, and still dressed in her burial gown, he fell to the ground. His heart gave out from the shock. He was later buried in the same coffin Margorie had escaped. Margorie, however, lived on. She remarried, had more children, and lived many more years in Lurgan. When she finally passed, for good this time, she was once again buried at Shankill Cemetery. Lived once, buried twice. To this day, you can visit that cemetery in Lurgan, and yes, there is a gravestone bearing that inscription. No one knows for sure if it's her original grave or one placed later as a tribute to the legend. While the legend is beloved and widely told in Irish folklore, there are no verified historical records confirming Margorie McCall's full identity. Her maiden name, details of any children, and other personal facts have never been officially documented. It's unclear whether the headstone marks her real grave or simply serves as a tribute to the powerful story that grew from this place. Still, the tombstone stands as one of Ireland's most famous and mysterious. Shankill Cemetery is one of the oldest burial grounds in the region. In the early 1700s, fears of premature burial were common. People were often interred quickly due to fear of disease, especially with fevers or unknown illnesses. Some graves were even equipped with bell ropes or breathing tubes. But in Margorie's case, her only salvation was sheer luck and a bad man with a knife. Today, the town of Lurgan is a small but lively community in County Armagh, Northern Ireland. With its mix of old and new, the town has held on to its history, and the story of Margorie McCall is still a point of interest. Guided tours and folklore nights sometimes include her tale, and Shankill Cemetery remains a destination for those drawn to legend and mystery. But that's not the end of her tale. Over the centuries, some have reported ghostly sightings in the graveyard. A woman in a burial gown, barefoot and pale, has been seen wandering between the headstones late at night. Some claim to hear knocking sounds beneath the ground. Others describe faint whispers or the soft voice of a woman asking, "Where's my husband?" It's said the robbers who disturbed her rest never found peace. One died instantly from fright, and the other, according to local rumor, was tormented by nightmares until the day he died. And every now and then, especially near her grave, a strange chill fills the air, even on warm days. Some stories fade with time, but this one refuses to die. Because Margorie McCall did what no one else in that graveyard ever could. She came back. Thanks for watching Haunted Hillbillies. If you like this legend, give us a like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more ghosts, forgotten graves, and haunted history. And if you're ever walking past a grave and hear a knock from below, you might want to knock back. Until next time, y'all stay safe and don't look back.